Welcome back, boys and girls, to the Audible Show. This is Dark Valentine 1984. I'm coming right back at you with a little quick tutorial with TechSmith's Camtasia Studio on how to make SvC Chaos style dialog screens with this program. Now, like before, you know the routine, just like the other two tutorials. You don't have nothing good to say. If you want to say something negative about myself, then just keep it to yourself. Alright? Now that we got that out the way, I'm not going to divulge in that no further. Not in this video anyway. We're going to get started with this tutorial. It's a real quick, fast, and easy tutorial, given that you got everything that you need. And I'm going to go ahead and load up the previous template that I used for the most recent SvC Chaos style video that I did for a friend of mine. So I'm going to go ahead and load it up so I can show you what I did. This was this one. Okay, once it loads up, we're good to go. Okay, there we are. And you see everything loading up on my timeline at the bottom. Alright, let me close the task list. Alright, now here's a few important things that you do need. One, you're going to need an already jet black JPEG image, mainly 320 by 240, this one. You're going to need this. Alright. After getting that, you're going to need to get all of your audio together. Just basically like you're making a regular storyboard, except that you're making an SvC Chaos style storyboard. So, like the previous tutorial about storyboard making, get all the things that you're going to use, but we're going to use a few extra things as well, and I'm going to explain that later. But for right now, just make sure you have everything you need. Make sure you have all your audio and your pictures that you're going to use. But in this one, it's going to be a little different. It will be just like SvC Chaos. So this is what you need. First, you're going to need 3 already made videos that I hope you've taken your time and did yourself. You're going to need your opening video, which will be this. The video that does play if you want the name of place and time to appear. The dialogue scene video that you want to come up when it's time for them to fight. Now notice, let me stop here. Now notice where it says round. Now notice in the video when I did do this, it didn't say this. Reason why is because I edited the timeline to where I cut that part out in the timeline but synced them to move normally like they would on SvC Chaos. But since this is mugen, we'll just say SvC mugen. Anyway, if you have that already and you have your opening, then you have your battle. Once you have your battle, it's basic simple here. You got your 3 main parts. So intro is optional. That's up to you. I'm just using the intro because it's my video. Alright? And once you have everything, you're pretty much good to go. But your main concern out of all of this is actually building that dialogue section, that dialogue screen. So this is how we're going to build it. First, you're going to have to go to a place like, I don't know, fightersgeneration.com. Okay, you go there and get all of your 2D sprite images, mainly the sprite portraits or any other portrait that you think would be good to use on your dialogue screen. They don't exactly have to be sprites. They don't exactly have to be portraits from the game. If you think a portrait is good enough or it could fit close to what you're trying to do, get it. Go ahead and get it. Make a folder for all of your portrait downloads because it's going to come in handy for what I'm about to tell you. Just stick all of the portraits you're going to use for the dialogues, if they got different expressions, in one single folder. If you have to, name them easy so you can get to them faster. Once you have that, we can go ahead and let's see, where is it? Right after this screen, you want to add the portraits coming up on this screen. Now I'll stop right here. Now notice that I had both portraits fade in along with the black JPEG image fade in, but with 30% opacity. I'll explain about that. See, I've used the option, it's really 2 options. I've used the picture-in-picture option which could be located on the task list right here. And I've also used callouts for the words and portraits. Since I'm using both together so they can work together, this made it look like everything faded for the main dialogue to come on. So I'll explain how both can work together. Okay, first you want to add your jet black image to your picture-in-picture line, or you want to just add a new line that says picture-in-picture. If you don't want to mess anything up, you can go ahead and lock your first track. So that way nothing will get messed up here. That's up to you, it's optional. To add this image to this bottom line, what you would have to do is right click on that image in your clip bin or whatever file you have and just click on add to picture-in-picture. When it does add, it's going to add itself on your timeline's picture-in-picture. From there, you can right click and just click on modify, and a new screen will come up saying modify picture-in-picture. When producing your video using a flash side-by-side template for the PIP, only show and hide and fade in, fade out options will be applied to the completed video. Other properties that you choose here only apply to a PIP when using a template other than flash side-by-side. Now, I didn't use flash side-by-side for this because it's really not necessary, not for what I'm doing. I'll probably have to explain that another time in another tutorial, but not in this one. Okay, as you can see, I did say 30% opacity. Now, you can change the opacity. The more you increase it, the darker it gets. The less you decrease it, well, self-explanatory here. So I decided for 30% because it felt more natural to the actual dialogue screen style. Okay, if I wanted to, I could have included a border. That just would have made things a little bit darker, but I just didn't feel the need for it. I could change the color of that border, but it's really not needed for this. I needed my picture-in-picture black screen to actually fade in and fade out. That way, it'll look like the dialogue screen just actually loaded up and the storyboard just went right along with it. I added a drop shadow to make it, seem more realistic at least for the portraits, because it gives the portraits a drop shadow as well. At least makes it show better. Now, it's up to me whether I want to show or hide, but since I'm not trying to do that, I'm pretty much done with this. It's up to me on how long I actually want this. Just like callouts, you can increase or decrease the length of the actual picture-in-picture for however long you want it to go. Once you're done actually setting up your picture-in-picture here to where you want it the right opacity, you can just click on OK. Since I have it saved, I'll click cancel. And you can just click finish. Now before you do that though, you can see, just like the callout screen, there's the picture-in-picture time bar. It's telling you where it started and where did it start in the video and where it's going to stop. Okay, you just have to pay attention to that. Anytime you increase or decrease that bar, that time will actually increase as well, or decrease. And once you're done with that, you click finish. Now comes the fun part, actually making this picture and words actually work together. As you can see, it's just switching. That's a different call out being played. And as you see, I have a number of them here. We'll stop the video. I'll blow it up so you can see it. I'll just stretch it out some so you can see. Alright, now notice the number of call outs I've used down here. Like I said, you can stretch them for however long they're going to play. You can just move your mouse over them and they'll tell you from time and to time, starting and finishing the actual length of the call out itself. This is kind of important here because depending on how long you want that call out to appear, that's how long that text and or picture will stay on the screen. So you might have to use your mind and use good judgment on how long you want these call outs to actually appear. Again, I'll be explaining that in a bit. Now, if you feel like there's an error in your call out, you can always right click and click on modify, and it'll immediately bring you to the call outs properties, and it's going to automatically go to whichever one you right clicked on. It's going to highlight it, or whichever bar you put it as. Okay. As for the actual portraits themselves, I've added them as custom callouts. Now this is what I was talking about before. Okay, if you want to add your picture that you downloaded as a custom callout, just click on the custom callouts box in the callout properties and just click on new custom callout, and then go and search for your folder that actually has your stuff. And once you find your folder, you just add them. You can't do a drag and add. You're gonna have to add them one at a time. But the best thing you can do is keep adding them until you've added them to your custom callout list. That way you can get to them whenever you need to. Once you think you've added enough callouts for your dialog screen or whatever you want to add, you just click OK. Okay, and once you do that, just click on the callout type drop down box, and you'll see that your custom callouts, whatever you name them to, will actually add themselves in. When you're ready to use a custom callout, click on the drop down box, click on it, and just choose what you want to appear here. Whenever you use that call out, whatever you saved it to is going to appear the next time you did it. So when you want to switch back to text, you click on the call out type drop down box and you click on text call out, and basically that's it. Again, you're building your call outs to the way you want it to appear. That way, when it actually does play on the timeline, they play it out to as you planned. Now, this again is pretty self-explanatory. Once you figure this out, then it's pretty easy. I mean, it's really not that hard. Once you think you've got everything set, you can go ahead and you can click on, finished. You can click on this button that says produce video as. Another screen will come up, and you can just click on custom production settings. You click on next. You click on AVI video. And as you see, I have it set for Microsoft Video 1. You're going to use Virtual Dub later, or you want to use Windows Movie Maker, or whatever you're going to use. Just use what you think is best to save your video. Since this is going to YouTube, you just use 320 by 240. You see what you set here. Stretch to fit. Okay. You can leave this blank. You can also leave this blank. At this point, you want to go ahead and name your stuff, or you want to leave it as the same name as the saved project file that you have. And once you're done, you can practically click finish. Besides that, that's pretty much all there is to this tutorial. As you see, even though it may not look like it, it's pretty easy. So remember, get your jet black image if you have to. Make one in Microsoft Paint, or whatever paint or picture program you have. Get all the audio that you're planning on using, remembering the stuff that you learned from my previous tutorial. Get the named videos that you're going to use. Remember, you need at least 3 main ones if you're going to do a single fight. You may need more depending on how many fights you actually got going, or if you're planning on making a big story. But other than that, it's basically storyboard making SvC Chaos style. And that's really all there is to it about this tutorial. So that's it for today. I hope you did learn something, as you can see for yourself. Since there's nothing else on this tutorial, it was rather short, which is what I intended. I hope you did learn something. So this is Dark Valentine 1984, as always, signing out.